Welcome to Speaking of Pets.
We're the Novotny sisters from Cleveland, Ohio.
I'm Dr. Alice Novotny Jeromin, a board-certified veterinary dermatologist.
And I'm not. I'm Janet Novotny King, the doctor's sister, podcast co-host, pet owner, rescuer, and lover.
We're here to provide pet owners with science-based information to help them be the best pet parents they can be.
Here's today's episode, created just for you and your pets.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. I'm Janet Novotny King. I am not the dermatologist. The dermatologist of the day is Dr. Alice Novotny Jeromin, my adorable sister, super smart whiz-bang, who I'm just going to tell a few little secrets. You know, if you had like a scab or a zit growing up, she was your gal. Let me tell you, she was, assume the position. So anyway, today we're going to cover something that is so darn common, and we get so many questions about this. It is springtime pet allergies. You know, they're doing fine. It's winter. They're in the house. They're not out as much. And then spring hits and everything's like here. We've got the red oaks are starting to bloom. This red stuff going, the forsythia, all that's going on. And, you know, lib's starting to scratch a little bit. So something's going on. So we have a lot of questions for Dr. Alice today. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here and be interviewed by the great, most famous co-host, Miss Janet Novotny King.
Merci beaucoup. Here we go. All right, so what types of allergies are common in the spring for dogs and cats? Let's just do them all together, soup to nuts.
Okay. Well, first of all, it depends on where you live.
Right.
We're from the Midwest, as most of our listeners know, Ohio. Right now in Ohio, spring trees are the first to pollinate. And if you go on pollen.com and put your zip code in there, you can get a daily pollen count. Like right now, when I looked at Cleveland this morning, it was maple, birch, and one of the other trees. So spring is trees, summer is grass pollen, fall is weed, and winter, believe it or not, we did a little piece on our Facebook page on winter itchers. Mm-hmm. Winter itchers are house dust mite, which loves darkness. And if you live in Ohio in the winter, you know it's dark. Or Janet, you're in Connecticut. Yep. So it's not unusual to have a year-round itcher because in winter, most likely that would be house dust mite. But right now in spring, it's tree pollen if you're living in the Midwest, in most areas of this country.
Well, and it's everywhere. You know, it's in your car. It's on the car windshield in the morning. All right, so how can I tell if my pet has environmental allergies, food allergies, or the one no one believes their pet has, fleas?
Oh, the big three. You hit in the big three. Well, let's start with environmental allergies.
See, I've been listening to you all these years.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Environmental allergies. First, let's talk the dog. It's called atopy, A-T-O-P-Y. Atopy is Latin for strange, and it was named that way because back in the day, when people had these symptoms, they thought, isn't that strange? It's in the same family. So atopy is Latin for strange. Oh. But my point, just really getting back to the pollen thing real quick, we tend, with pollen circulating, we inhale that. Pollen settles, okay? So when dogs and cats are outside walking around in the pollen, they come in, yes, they inhale it, but they absorb it across their skin. And in dogs, you absorb it across the skin where there's not much hair. The inside of the ears, the underside of the chin, the underside of the belly, paws, and the butt. So allergy is face, feet, and butt. And they'll lick their feet, they'll scoot, they'll rub their face, they get ear infections. So it's not the upper respiratory hay fever like we get. It's pretty rare for an allergic dog to sneeze. Cat, different. We'll talk about cat in a minute. So face, feet, and butt, depending on what they're allergic to, they will lick those areas or get infections or get skin or ear infections.
They do this on their eyes.
Paw their face. It's so sad because you know they're suffering. So it's a good idea to rinse them off because you're getting the pollen off of them, okay? If you're going to do nothing else, at least do that. And we'll get into medications in a little bit. But wipe their feet off when they come in. Wipe their little muzzle off because they're going to take that in bed with them and in bed with you.
Well, here's kind of a dumb question. You know those, I buy them, mine are yellow, those dust cloth things, what are they called? The yellow...
Microfiber.
I mean, think about that. That would probably drag a lot off if you just had a couple of those like at the back door when they come in.
Yeah, you can really use any cloth. You know, people will buy pet wipes and things like that. I just like a cotton washcloth. I don't keep reusing it because the pollen's on there. Wipe it. I have a couple right by the door. Throw it in the
And I
wash.
don't know, my Libby sticks her nose right into that long grass and the bushes.
You know, I swear to God, it's just, for example, it kind of snowballs. Like if they're allergic to dust mites live in fabric, carpet, bedding, upholstery. They come out at night. And they feed off of exfoliated skin cells, be it dogs or humans. But guess what? They like the cells of allergic individuals. So it's not only that they feed off your cells of your skin, but they like you more if you're allergic. So it's a double whammy. And it's true for dogs and cats, too.
Wow.
It's terrible.
Well, and you know, my son and husband are allergic to dust mites. I'm telling you, people, you can't get rid of them. You can't, they're in the house.
Oh, no. You can't. And, they
vacuum, the more they up.
Yeah, and you can wash things in hot water. They don't like dryness. They don't like desiccation. So they say, like on a hot sunny day, hang your sheets out, or do them in real hot water and dry them real hot. They don't like darkness I'm sorry. They like darkness. They don't like light and dryness. That's why they come out at night like a vampire.
We had those covers for the mattresses, and I don't think they did anything, quite frankly.
I know they tell you to buy those covers, and
they were hot.
you don't want to buy the plastic ones because then you
The
sweat.
fabric. It was like
Yeah, I
But
know.
anyway, okay. So
Yeah.
wait, go to cats. So how do cats?
Okay, cat.
And how do you?
Cats do their own thing. Cats, where dogs show signs of allergies anywhere from 3 months to 3 years, it would be very rare for a 10-year-old dog to start with allergies, okay? We'll talk about what else that could be. Cats are more middle-aged starting, and they look like anything. They do the bald belly where they lick off all their hair. They get these little scabs called miliary dermatitis. They get a big fat chin called rodent ulcer, or they get these plaques on their skin, which is a long word called eosinophilic granuloma complex. So there's like 4 or 5 different looks for an allergic cat. And the most common thing that the veterinarians will give will be a long-acting cortisone shot, which maybe is okay if your cat is itchy 3 months or less, but you don't want to keep repeating those. It can weaken the heart muscle. It can set them up for diabetes. So you really need to talk to your veterinarian if you have an allergic cat. And we'll show some pictures in the show notes, by the way, of allergic dogs and cats. You really need to talk to your veterinarian if steroids are suggested repeatedly for either your dog or the cat. Because one thing, Janet, that people don't realize is as dogs and cats have allergies, they get worse as they get older.
Yeah.
We outgrow ours, they grow into theirs. So you want to get a safe way of treating them that's going to be their whole
I have
life.
to say, as a cat owner, I would love the convenience of a shot. The last 3 months. I'm just saying.
I agree with you.
Because cats
I agree
are hell
with
to
you.
give mine are hell to give medicine.
Yeah, we'll talk about the few different treatments for cats, and there are some that aren't oral. Hope you're enjoying today's Speaking of Pets podcast.
Every week, we feature a board-certified specialist, dermatology, me, oncology, internal medicine, orthopedic surgery, ophthalmology, dentistry, you name it. If it affects pets, we're on it.
We're here to share some really good information for pet owners, practical information that is science-based, so that you can be a pet owner and have a healthier pet.
To learn more about your pet's health, check out our other episodes wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi everyone, I'm Larry. Some of you know me as Grandpa Larry, and I run Larry's Animal Safari on YouTube, where we share sweet and educational videos about baby gorillas, zoo animals, and the amazing teams who care for them. If you love animals of all kinds, I'd love to have you join us. You'll meet little ones like Jamila and Kayembe, learn how zoo families grow, and enjoy real moments that bring joy and curiosity to animal lovers everywhere. Just search Larry's Animal Safari on YouTube, or click the link in the show notes. New videos go up weekly, and each one supports awareness for animal care and conservation. Thanks to Speaking of Pets podcast for all they do. Now, let's get back to the show.
So which symptoms indicate mild allergies versus a more serious problem? Like, how do you know it's allergies?
Well, that's true. Inhalant allergies are atopy, like we said in dogs, means strange. It's usually face, feet, or butt, but there's some other things that can look like that. Scabies,
Yeah.
sarcoptic mange, that affects the
And
ears,
and
the
and
elbows, the
fur.
hocks, the tummy. And that, I have to tell you, I'm doing a webinar for veterinarians in a month on that, of how not to mistake scabies for allergy, okay? Because, and let's give that example. 8-year-old golden retriever, never been itchy in its life. All of a sudden, it's horribly itchy. It's probably not allergy.
Yeah.
Better look at scabies or another, what we call ectoparasite. Now let's look at cats. Cats, you've got to rule out flea allergy. Flea allergy is the 1 out of 3 cats are flea allergic. So if a cat comes into my office that's itchy, I want to be sure that that cat is not exposed to fleas. And I don't care if it lives in a high rise in New York City. I'm going to put that cat on flea control because 1 out of 3 cats are going to be flea allergic. If I go on and perform allergy testing for other allergies, we may never need to do that. We've got to rule out flea allergy first. In cats, in dogs, it's true too. Dogs usually have what we call naked butt. And we'll show it on the show notes. They lose the hair above the tail, and they go after the hind end and down the back legs. Naked butt in the dog is flea allergy to proven otherwise. We got some great anti-flea meds out now, much more safer than the bathing and the collars and all that stuff
Remember
that we
you
used
used
to
to
have.
dip them.
Oh, horrible.
Remember?
And the worst thing was they would buy dog dip and use it on a cat, and they'd kill those cats because they're pyrethrin
They don't
sensitive.
even do that anymore.
No,
How
thank
can
goodness.
I tell if the itching is some other infection? Maybe you know how sometimes they just get it raw. I've had that happen. AKA
Well,
hot
when you're allergic, you get 2 things for free. Bacteria love you and fleas love you. So allergic dogs or cats need to be on flea control, okay? And because they're excoriating themselves, you open that skin up to more bacteria. You have normal, nice staph bacteria that lives on you, okay? Called staph pseudointermedius. But imagine digging like that. You are pushing that bacteria down deep in the skin. It's not supposed to be there. It's not supposed to be under the skin. So bacterial infection itches too. So say I've got my 4-year-old golden and she's under control on allergy treatment, which we'll talk about. But I notice she's got like a little hot spot, which is a bacterial infection. I got to get her on antibiotic for that or an antibacterial topical because that can snowball into something even bigger of an itching mess. So bacterial infection can itch too, to answer your question.
Okay. Are ear infections or paw licking
Yeah.
typical signs of seasonal allergies?
Yes, but.
Okay, because I'm thinking if you're saying, okay, so they're getting the pollen on the paws and then they're licking, it's going in.
Yeah, absolutely. Foot infections, they come in, they lick their feet, and if they lick their feet too much, sometimes they'll get a little yeast infection. Because when you're allergic, your preventative layer of your skin is screwed up, okay? You absorb those allergens across the skin. Guess what else likes to take up residence there? Bacteria, yeast. Yeast loves the folds of the feet and the nail folds. It also loves the ears. And you can have accompanying ear infections when you have environmental allergies and especially food allergy.
And think about it. They go outside, like Libby's got a lot of hair, right? She goes outside, they get wet, they don't really dry off. It's just waiting for it.
Can I just say, these heavily coated breeds like your Goldens and my Goldens, Newfoundlands, Great Pyrenees, they can't stay wet because their coat holds that moisture in. And I've had Newfoundland patients that come in when they weren't completely dry after their bath. And guess what? That wetness on that bacteria, the good bacteria on the skin, starts it growing. Got to completely dry
And
them.
I think this is on smaller dogs that have like white fur around the eyes. They get like orangey brown. What is that?
That is called porphyrin. Porphyrin is in your bodily fluids. And so when the light hits that discharge, I'll see a little white dog on my walk and I'll say, he licks his feet. How'd you know that? Because they were all brown. So licking the porphyrin, the sunlight hits that porphyrin, turns it brown. Here's something else.
But is that
Alcoholic. No, it just tells me that they lick their feet. But alcoholic people get that porphyrin staining in their hands too. Yeah. I know. I love comparative medicine, so sorry. But I digress.
Okay, so what treatments work best for dogs and cats? I know my son and husband were on those shots before drops came around. And you had told me whatever shot they were getting were the same ones the dogs were getting.
I know, but we're much cheaper, aren't
Yeah,
we,
you were
as
cheaper.
veterinarians?
It was a lot per shot.
And guess what? It's the same allergy company.
But I had to go to the office. The nurse had.
I know.
You know.
Yes, but we teach owners how to give it at home. Okay, let's start with allergy shots. Desensitization, or we call it immunotherapy. Guess what? There's 3 ways to give that now. The shot, sublingual drop, and a little cream that's made up of what they're allergic to, and you put it every day. My Annie, I should have brought it out. My Annie is on that right now. Okay, so first of all, you got to find out what they're allergic to.
Yeah.
We've eliminated fleas and scabies as the reason they're itchy.
Okay, let's go to what is an allergy test for pets?
An allergy test for pets is either a skin test, which most veterinary dermatologists like myself do. Most general practice vets don't do that because we're testing for 50 different things, and you have to use that all the time or they go outdated. So that's something people seek out a specialist for. But there are blood tests for allergy. And the problem is I can skin test or blood test a pet for allergies. It's accurate to a degree, but I can test a patient that's not allergic and they'll show up on positives. So you can't use that test to say, oh, Janet's dog is allergic. You have to rule out other things first and say, okay, it's not fleas, it's not scabies, it's not food allergy. It's got to be inhalant allergy. Let's allergy test. Okay, so we did the test. Let's do Libby's test. She's allergic to oak trees, ryegrass, ragweed. So we're going to take those things and put them in a solution.
Right.
Now, we can do an injectable solution where we give her little amounts, increasing amounts, once a week over time for the rest of her life.
Right, and it builds up.
Her resistance, just like in your son and your husband. And then we put them on a maintenance, like a shot every 3 weeks.
Yep.
If we do the oral drops, we put what she's allergic to in a little oral drop, you just put it right over the lip, 2 drops, 2 pumps. We do that twice a day. That's pretty much the rest of their life because it's not as long acting as the shot. And then the transdermal, we put that on every day. Now, this treatment, this immunotherapy desensitization, is the only treatment to cure allergy. All the other things we're going to talk about just do the symptoms. The downside is it can take anywhere from 4 to 12 months to work. Very few, if any, side effects. But it takes a dedicated owner. I mean, if you have Libby on allergy shots and you give her, say she had 0.3 cc's last week. Now next week you're giving her 0.4 and you think, she was a little itchier after that 0.4. You're not going to go to 0.5 then. You're going to call me. You're going to call her doctor and say, hey, Dr. Alice, she was like a little itchy. And I would probably tell you, all right, then let's go down to 0.3. So at the beginning, it's a little bit of titration. Right. But it's my favorite way to treat allergy. It's inexpensive in my office. I got to tell you, and of course, I'm retired now, people, and I apologize because I know it's a lot more expensive now. It probably costs you $20 a month.
Wow.
But it's
and then they're done. And then they're done.
That's the old days. Well, it's $20 a month. I mean, it's the rest of their life. But to be honest, in some of these dogs, they were using only 2 vials a year. It was like hardly any.
Yeah, but the other thing is that either you do the $20 a month, or you have the miserable pet that could get infections from the itching and they're up at night keeping you up itching and.
Or the other drugs that don't get to the root of the allergy, and you have to monitor lab work because they may be getting side effects from them. So let's talk about some of those, though.
Okay.
Let's talk about the most popular one. Let's do dog first. Most popular one now is called Apoquel. Apoquel is something called a JAK inhibitor. Okay, that's a category of drugs. There's also Zenrelia and a brand new one called Numelvi. So we have 3 JAK inhibitors. Human medicine has like 30.
Wow.
They work like that. I prefer using them over the old prednisone, because I don't like prednisone at all. And you know, Janet, we've had that discussion before. So the advantage to Apoquel, Zenrelia, or Numelvi is they work like that. They last for a good 4 to 6 to 8 hours, okay? The earlier ones, which is Apoquel, are shorter, acting like 4 or 5 hours. And you can kind of what we say, hey, she's itchy, let's give her an Apoquel twice a day for the next 3 days, settle her down. There are some dogs that stay on it their lifetime. It's much safer than staying on prednisone your lifetime. But if the vet is going to keep your dog on Apoquel for life, let's get blood work every 6 months. Let's just check this. Well, sometimes I had patients that their white count went down a little bit. I don't like keeping someone on a drug forever if I don't have to. So I like Apoquel. I like Zenrelia. Numelvi's new to this country. But I would rather have them on something natural like the immunotherapy and use Apoquel, Zenrelia, Numelvi when they're itchy. No one is going to be totally controlled on allergy shots. The pollen may be sky high today, and I may need like a little bit of something to get me through today and tomorrow. That's when we use Apoquel.
Okay, crazy question. Should a pet owner change their home cleaning practice or add an air purifier? Is that going to make a difference?
Not from what I've seen. I think it helps more human than it does dog. You got to remember, when you're looking at pollen counts, they're measuring at 5 feet above the ground for us.
And outside, not in your house.
Yes. In the house, it's a whole different world down there. In the carpets and everything else that's in there. And I'm sure in these carpets here, there's pollen from last fall.
Sure.
I mean, because it's a rental. But before we forget, I do want to talk about monoclonal antibody Cytopoint, which is for dogs, again, not for cats, and we'll talk about cats in a minute. Cytopoint, and there's a new one coming out called Befrena. These are a once a month to every 4 to 6 week shot, which there's something called interleukin 31 that makes dogs itchy. This shot goes in, binds it, wipes it out.
The interleukin.
Interleukin 31. So it's a monoclonal antibody. It helps when the dog is itchy. When the dog is itchy and a lot of inflammation, you're looking more at Apoquel, Zenrelia. So Cytopoint, let's use an example. We use Cytopoint for itchy dogs, okay, that are allergic. But say I have a dog that has skin lymphoma and they're itchy from that. I don't want to use something like Apoquel, which may immunosuppress them. But Cytopoint, I can give them a Cytopoint shot to help with the itching. And again, remember, these are in place of cortisone, in place of prednisone.
So you really have to have this very close relationship with your veterinarian or your veterinary dermatologist, because
Absolutely.
I felt that way when the cat was diabetic. It was.
Oh, yes.
Because I call and say, she's not doing so great or what, and that's just, you have to be a very, as we all are, caring and loving pet parent and to take.
And you have to be an advocate.
Oh, yeah.
Be it in human medicine or veterinary medicine. To be honest, I think more so in human medicine. We need to talk about our cat lovers, though. Our cat moms out there, cat moms, cat dads. Cats, poor cats. They're like the second-class citizen. A cat was itchy.
But being a cat owner, they kind of want to be not in your life. I know. To them, it's their personality. So I respect that.
I get it. But the old thing for cats used to be hit them with a cortisone shot and they're off. We never really looked to see what was wrong. Was it fleas? Was it food allergy? We'll get to that. Was it atopy? Now in cats, we got a fancy name, FASS, feline atopic skin syndrome. I hate when these Catopy is what Dr. Alice calls it. I hate when these smart people rename stuff. Okay, so let's face it, we use a lot of steroid in cats. I don't approve of that. I don't. But cats seem to tolerate steroid much better than dogs do. But that's no reason to not respect it.
Right.
So there's a drug called cyclosporin, brand name Atopica is one of the brand names. We use it in dogs for allergy. We had it before we had the Apoquel family. It's okay, it works, but it takes sometimes like a month. In cats, and again, it's oral, so Janet, I know you're not going to be a fan of this. They make a little liquid for cats.
That's it.
And, well, what I like about Atopica for cats is you start them at every day, and I start everybody on a minuscule dose. because a lot of them respond to the little dose. You don't have to do the big textbook dose and get side effects. I keep telling vets that. But anyway, give them a little dose every day. Once they're under control,
It's good.
hey, let's do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's give them a vacay weekend. Hey, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, holding them. Let's do Monday,
You
Thursday.
can taper it.
And then, and actually, 33 to 45% of those cats can be tapered. All right, but like we said with allergy, I may have a bad day because ragweed pollen might be high. Okay, I don't have a problem giving them a little bit of prednisolone liquid in their food or something just for a day or two. Calm them down. But sadly, we don't have a monoclonal antibody yet for cats. But I love weekly allergy shots for cats. Janet, you gave your cat a shot every day. This is once a week.
I could do that. Well, not with these two, but yeah.
And I'm telling you, I think, and I've said this before when I lecture to vets, I think cats do so much better on weekly allergy shots than dogs do. I don't know why. You know, you can either skin test the cat or blood test the cat, find out what they're allergic to. Majority of the time, it's dust mite.
Yeah.
And I do want to say this. I don't have science to back it up. And I'll show you some pictures. I'm petting the golden right here. I'll show you some pictures in the show notes. I feel the majority of allergic cats are orange. Orange or have orange in them.
Interesting, like a tabby.
Calicos, orange and white. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I have another question. Wait a minute.
We could talk food allergy whenever you want.
Oh, I know. Hold on. Oh, should I change, like, when I walk my pet, like during pollen season? Is it better in midday? When is all that pollen released?
Yeah, I like early morning to walk because it's not usually that windy. Like right now, I can see the trees. It's windy here.
Also, there's like dew in the morning.
Yeah, and it is. And also, remember, wetness makes you absorb things better across the skin. So when they're out there in the dew or in the evening, you got to really wipe those feet then. Yeah, it's hard to say. You just got to wipe the feet no matter when they come in. You know what I mean?
Okay, so let's go to food allergies. And I'll give my usual shout out to Purina, that cat food.
Okay, that's for humans that are allergic to cats.
Right.
Live clear.
Live clear.
So if you are a human, like Janet or me, I'm cat allergic, I would buy Live Clear by Purina. Shout out to Purina.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
It reduces the cat's allergenicity by 40%. So that means almost half. If you're horribly allergic to your cat, you're going to reduce that by almost half. You might be able to live with that cat
It works.
now. Live
I
Clear.
have two son and a husband. It works. Okay, but
Janet, I think Purina should supply you Live Clear the rest of your life.
that's all I buy from Chewy. Hello.
I know.
It's on auto ship. So
Auto
what
ship.
about food allergies? How do you? Because I know that you would tell patients just lamb and rice or just chicken and rice or blah, blah, blah.
Okay, that's the old thing. First of all, let me get this clear. If you learn nothing else from this podcast, do not spend money on any blood tests for food for a dog or a cat. There may be valid in humans. I am here to tell you, as a member of the American College of Veterinary Dermatology, every one of our 130 diplomats would agree with me. There is no blood or skin test that's reliable for food allergy testing a dog or cat. Please don't spend $300 on that. The only way to...
Sounds like a pet peeve to me.
It is a pet peeve, thank you. Well, a pet peeve to me, and I'm going to tell you that right now, is when people spend money needlessly on non-scientific things because the marketing was so good and there was no science behind it at all. Okay, so...
That's all of us standing on those pads that shake us, that make us lose weight.
Yeah, but it's good for lymphatic
No,
training.
but it's not good for... It doesn't make you lose weight.
It's not for losing weight. No. Okay. So the one clue that your pet could be food allergic, be it a dog or a cat, is they've got a skin problem all year round because they're eating the same thing they're allergic to every day. So what we do is we take, unfortunately, you can either cook a diet using balanceit.com or talking to your vet, or buying one of the prescription, not the over-the-counter, the prescription limited antigen diets. Because you've got to get them off corn, wheat, egg, beef, chicken, soy, dairy, fish, and get them onto a protein source they've never been on. Because the main allergen is the protein. In the dog, it's beef, wheat, or dairy, or chicken. In the cat, it's beef, chicken, or fish.
Wow.
But so it's not enough, Janet, for you to go to the grocery store and look at these labels. Oh, there's no chicken in there. Let me tell you, there was one study, they took like 30 bags of food, compared what was in the food by doing DNA by what was on the label. 83% of them did not match.
Wow.
So I guarantee you, if you're looking for no chicken on a food, I bet you by golly dollar it's in there. So that's why you got to do the prescription diet from your vet, not the limited allergen diets over the counter.
Right.
Those are not DNA tested at the end of the line to make sure there's nothing else in it. And you do that diet for 8
Well,
weeks.
and it sounds difficult, but you can actually get your vet to do the prescription through an online service like Chewy and have it delivered to you.
Yes, and the other
Your
thing,
vet and get it, because I'm all about convenience and I love having my pet food delivered.
and what people don't realize is Hills, Royal Canine, Blue Buffalo, those companies, if you say my cat won't eat that food, you take it back to them and they'll
Yes, they
refund you.
do. They do.
For cats, because you know they can be picky, we would always give 2 cans of each hypoallergenic diet and a little Ziploc bag, and I never charged people for that, and said, let me know which one they like the best, and then we can have it sent.
Yeah,
to you.
because cats are just a little. Some dogs are
You
too.
can't, you cannot say to a cat, hey, you won't eat, you'll eat when you're hungry. Can't do that. They can get sick.
So,
A dog, you can say you'll eat when you're
how
hungry.
do our listeners find a veterinary allergist and dermatologist in their area?
acvd.org. We'll have it in the show notes. And you go on that site and click on Find a
And
Dermatologist.
we use their zip code or something.
Yeah, zip code, state.
Because they
something
are
like-
everywhere.
And
They're, they're everywhere.
most, yeah, we do have them now. When I was first boarded, gosh, we only had 2 in the state of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got more than that because there are corporate. I wasn't corporate, but that's the way of the world now. Or your vet, chances are your veterinarian knows a veterinary dermatologist. And if you can't afford to go to one, most veterinary dermatologists, me included, will consult with your vet at no charge.
Sure.
You know, we want to get these pets better.
Yeah. So what else do you have to share with our listeners about allergies and pets? What else? What are like your
Okay.
top 3 tips?
Well, let's talk about bathing. It's good to rinse. Now, let's do dogs because a lot of people don't bathe their cat and live to tell
Not
about
doing
it.
it.
Okay, so it's at least rinse them off or wipe them down with a damp towel. Let's get some of this pollen
Right.
off. If there's not any skin infection, I would just use a nice, just an over-the-counter shampoo that doesn't have any medication
Yeah.
in it, okay? But if we've got a little skin infection, we then need to go to medicated, which usually means chlorhexidine, 2 to 4%, or, Janet, one of our sponsors was Vetramax. They make Command shampoo, and we've got a video of you bathing Libby. Command shampoo is a mild bleach shampoo, which people think, oh, bleach. Listen,
Bleach isn't bad.
bleach is used in human medicine. It restores skin turnover
Right.
time. So if you look on my website, perfectpet.com, PURRFECT pet.com, I have a recipe for Dakin solution, which it tells you how much bleach to add to water, and you put a little sodium bicarb in there. We used to use it in World War II for treating wounds.
Yeah.
So that would be an antibacterial, antifungal, the chlorhexidine or the sodium hypochlorite. As far as cats, there are different things out now, like mousses and things like that are chlorhexidine. I don't like to put a lot of topicals on a cat because you know why?
They're
What's
liquor.
on the cat is in the
They're
cat.
liquors.
Yeah, so I don't like to do that. I would rather work medication-wise, desensitization shot-wise. There's not a lot of topicals you can put on a cat that they won't lick
They
off.
can't hold their liquor.
They cannot. And can I remind you all right now, if you are on Rogaine, using it on your head and sleeping at night, and that cat sleeps there, if that cat sleeps licks that pillow where the Rogaine is, very toxic. So just remember, cats are out there tasting everything.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, guess what was on the back porch yesterday? A dead SNAKE.
Oh, really?
Pencil thin a little. It's probably, about this long.
You think someone hunted it
Oh,
and brought it to you?
yeah. It didn't just crawl up and die.
You know, we should probably talk about any oral supplements real quick before we have to
'cause
go.
we got to wrap it up.
I know. For sure we know omega-3 fish oil
Right.
helps It's not going to help right away, but I would have any allergic dog. And remember, we had Dr. Boyko on from Embark DNA.
Yep.
That is, if you do DNA on your dog, it can show whether that dog is going to have allergies or not. And if it says, yes, it's got the gene, get that dog on omega-3s right away as a prevention, because it helps normalize that screwed up skin barrier. Other things like turmeric can help, zinc can help. There's been some studies with CBD. It doesn't work great for allergy. It may kind of calm down the itching, but it doesn't do a lot for the inflammation in the skin.
Any other closing thoughts for our pet owners?
I just wish everybody an easy allergy season. How come every spring when I'm reading up on allergies, it's going to be the worst allergy season ever? It's like that every year. They tell us
every year.
I know.
And P.S. They gave us no warning that this winter was going to be this bad, snow-wise.
I know.
bad.
You really got it. You really got it. And I just want to do a shout out to Golden Treasures, Golden Retriever Rescue in Akron, Ohio, Golden Retriever Rescue of Southwest Florida, and Silver Snout Senior Dog Rescue in Venice, Florida, who's got all these cute little old dogs, and they come in and they leave like $1 million. They look like $1 million because there's so much loving care there. So thank you guys for all you do. And thanks to my lovely co-host and I want to give a shout out to our fabulous producers, Duke and Joanne. We couldn't do this without you. You keep everything running smoothly when Janet and I need editing all the time.
Thanks for laughing at our jokes.
Yes. Even when they're not funny.
Even when they're not funny. But thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. It's hot allergy season, so this is super valuable information. And don't forget, email us your questions. We love hearing from you all. We read every single one of them. So thanks. Don't forget to like us, love us, follow us, share us with your friends, and listen in. And give your pets
And kiss the pets.
Yeah, kiss your pets and give them an extra treat for us. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching.
And listening.
We like likes.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow us on social media at Speaking of Pets.
And give your pets a big kiss from the Novotny sisters.
The Speaking of Pets podcast is an SLA Video Production.